Howdy everybody, it's your pal Misty. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. So I thought after yesterday's video it was important to let y'all know a few things. My mama pointed out that it wasn't that much blood on my knee. Now that could be debated because it dripped, and dripping is more than a scrape, and that's a lot of blood. But really that's not the point of this. The point of this is to know that my mama says a lot of great things, except for that she never said them. So I'm sorry, mama, but I mean oh, you didn't use the blinker. So I'm sorry, because my mama said if you don't let it out, you know, that gas inside, that you'll explode. But she swears she never said that. So anytime I think something is a good idea, as I was growing up and throughout my life, I would just add in front of the story what my mama says. So you know how people will tell a story and they'll be like, oh, I was so drunk and I did this. And you say you were so drunk because what you did didn't make sense to a normal person. So when I wanted to make something for effect, you would often find me saying, well, my mama says this. And so technically that's a lie, because she didn't say that. But imagine how much more impactful it sounds when you think somebody else's mama said it. I like telling stories, and sometimes what people need to know about my stories is that none of them are true. A lot of them are based on facts, but a lot of them are not true. So many of you know that I work for call centers, and back in the day I would actually take phone calls before I started moving up in management, and then sometimes even in management I would have to take phone calls, customer calls or client calls. And for a long time I had a whole family. I was married and I had 3 children. It was 2 boys and a girl. They were 5, 7, and 9. I knew all of their names. I knew little tidbits of information about them because it helps if they have a family and you also have a family, or if they're hitting on you and you don't want them to, so now you have a husband. Because having a wife would never work, because then they had a ton of more questions. Nope. No. Sorry, I would even think to say that. I never did, but I had heard that happen to other people. So yeah, I have a lot of good customer service stories, and like I've mentioned before, they're not all true, but they're really good stories. So if I say, let me tell you a story, please understand that it comes from a place of exaggeration and I mean, the facts are true. It's just I present them differently and in a way that better suits the story. Now, if you were to just ask me a question, I would not be able to lie to you. I'm really bad at it. If I'm shocked, you will know it. If I'm mad, you will know it. If I'm angry, which is not the same to me, but if I'm angry, evidently you'll really know it. I heard I was a little scary. Don't make me angry. It's real easy. It's real hard to make me angry. So it should be really easy not to. But anyway, so since my mama blasted me on social media that it wasn't that much blood, even though I said it doesn't make for it was a story if there wasn't that much blood, and she didn't seem to think that was a good answer. I just wanted all of y'all to know that if I've ever told you that my mama said something, chances are she didn't probably say it. But if you still learned a good lesson from it, you're welcome. I meant that from a good place. And I tell stories to help people. Oh, that was an accident. It's coming from a good place deep down in my soul, in my stomach, in my spirit, and I'm doing it to help people and to make people better at their jobs and to relate to people better. And so, like, I'll give you an example. Y'all know how I feel about Chick-fil-A, and yet when talking to a class, I will do nothing but promote how good their customer service is, and about how this one time I went to Chick-fil-A for a friend of mine to pick something up before I went to her house because it was right by my apartment. And when I pulled in, it was raining, and I was so pissed because y'all know I already don't have my umbrella. No time winning with me. So I'm sitting there, I'm looking for the umbrella, I don't find an umbrella. I'm like, do I go through the drive-thru? Do I go in? What do I do? And then some guy knocks on my window and it scares me to death. And I'm like, hello, can I help you? He's like, would you like me to walk you inside? And I look at him like, I don't know what that means. Why would you? And so he has an umbrella. So Chick-fil-A has what's called an umbrella service. Well, they will walk you from your car to the inside so that you don't get wet. And that's great customer service. And that's a really good story. And it is a lie. It never happened to me, ever. I don't go to Chick-fil-A. But it's a very good story. It's a very memorable story. And people can relate to that. And it's based on facts, because that is something that Chick-fil-A does. I read about it. I even saw it once later, after I had already made up the story. But I didn't say that my mama said that. I said that happened to me, because they don't know me. And it was just a story. And I literally do say, you know what, let me tell you a story. What they don't know is that means, I guess here's, you know what, that's been a whole bunch of rambling about me trying to justify what I do. But here's what I need you to know before the light turns green. Oh, this is bad lighting, I think. If I ever say, you know what, let me tell you a story, be prepared to be lied to a little bit. That's all. And that's the truth. And I don't know what else to say about that, except for that's what I do. I tell stories. Stories are basis in truth, and I share nuggets of thoughtful knowledge that my mama told me, even though she didn't. So thank you all for joining me today. Because that topic ended up, can y'all tell when I'm a little uncomfortable? I'm just even uncomfortable saying that out loud, but here's to sharing. That's what this vlog is for, right? To share your truth, and my truth is that a lot of it's fake. That sounds so ridiculous coming out of my mouth, but it's the truth. And most of y'all have probably heard those stories and either know they're not true, or now you know that they're not true. I mean, I tell people that I tell stories. I just don't think they totally understand that it's a story. You know, like you read a book, it's made up. It's a story. Let me tell you a story. Let me tell you about a time when this, oh, that's another place on interviews. You know what? They ask you interview questions when you're looking for a job. And really what they're doing is they're looking for certain answers. And I'm not saying that this is a pro tip, because maybe not everybody can do it, but since I've been in the industry so long, I know what answers people are looking for because I'm looking for those answers. So I come up with scenarios that perfectly fit what you're looking for. But it might not have happened. But was the answer not good? Was the answer not perfect? Did it not show that I understand what needs to be done and how to accomplish it? The story tells you that. I didn't ever do it before, but I know how, and I know what that means, and I know what's good and bad. So it was a whole lot of truthfulness to come out of me in one day. And I hope you were ready for it, because I wasn't ready for it. I didn't even know that's what I was going to be sharing today. I was just going to tell y'all that it wasn't a whole lot of blood. It was just a little bit of blood, but it was dripping down my knee. Like, it was stripped. Like, I had to wipe it. For me, that was a lot of blood. I felt like it was a lot of blood, probably because I felt like they thought it was a lot of blood. It really wasn't that much blood. And it didn't even hurt. And I told him that I didn't want him to take me. Mama, just for the record again, I told him that they didn't need to take me. I was fine to walk. And he didn't believe me. That's not my fault. So, thanks for listening to my story. Now, all of this part of everything that I've said about storytelling is true. It's just all of the stories that may not be totally true. So, like this comment. Why do I keep saying like this comment? Oh, everybody, is that annoying y'all as much as it's annoying me? Probably not. And I could cut it and you would never know, but I'm not going to. Nope, just gonna keep it in there. Like this video if you haven't already. Comment down below on if you've heard me tell a story and you would like to know if that story is actually true. And I'll tell you. If you're in my family, most of the stories are true, because I tell you true things that happen. They're just so crazy they sound like a story, but they're really not. It's really more work related, where I tell stories in the interviews, which is also work related. So comment down below if you'd like to know if something's true, or what's your favorite story, and tell me if it's true or not, or don't tell me, and just let me know that it's a good story. And subscribe if you haven't already, or if you know how. Otherwise, I think that's going to be it for today. I'll see y'all real soon.